Hi, welcome to Mark's English Academy, the place to learn English fast. I want you to imagine driving along the road and suddenly a little girl runs out onto the road in front of you. So you veer off the road and you hit somebody's house. Okay, if I'm driving down the road and a little girl runs out onto the street in front of me and I veer off the road to miss her and I hit your house, and you come out of your house and you say, "What's going on here?" I would say, "I'm really sorry. I was driving down the road, a little girl ran out onto the street in front of me and I had to veer off the road to miss her, and I hit your house." And if you would say, "I don't care what happened, you hit my house," then I would say, "What was I supposed to do? Kill the girl?" Okay, so this lesson is on rhetorical questions. Now, a rhetorical question, I think these are quite advanced because I don't hear very many students using rhetorical questions. Very few of my students and very few non-native English speakers use rhetorical questions a lot. Okay, they might use a few, but they don't know how to use them very often. And they're very important because native English speakers use rhetorical questions all the time. Okay, so I'm going to show you in this lesson how you can identify them, okay, because you hear them all the time, but you might not understand them. I'm going to show you how you can identify them and how you can start using them yourself. So, a rhetorical question is a question that isn't really a question. It's more of a statement. Okay, it's a question that doesn't require an answer. So if somebody asks you a rhetorical question, they're not actually asking you for an answer. It's a rhetorical question. Okay, or if you ask someone a rhetorical question, it means that you're not asking them for anything. There is no answer. All right? So when I said, "What was I supposed to do? Kill the girl?" I'm not asking for your opinion on what I should have done. I already know that I did the right thing. Okay? I'm saying this because you got mad at me and you're not understanding the situation. Okay? I could have killed the girl. Why are you getting mad at me? I did the right thing. So I'm saying this as a way to defend myself. Okay? What was I supposed to do? Kill the girl? All right? Everybody knows that a girl's life is more important than a house. All right, so here are some more rhetorical questions. How should I know? How should I know? If you asked me, "What's the population of Africa?" I would say, "How should I know? How should I know how many people live in Africa?" I'm not asking you how I should know. I'm saying I don't know. I have no idea how many people live in Africa. Who cares? If you told me, "Mark, did you hear that Justin Bieber has a new girlfriend?" I would say, who cares? Who cares whether some celebrity gets a new girlfriend or boyfriend? I don't care about celebrities. So I'm not saying that, I'm not asking who cares. I'm saying I don't care and nobody should care about celebrities' lives. It's useless. Okay? Are you serious? Are you serious? Now this one is showing surprise. So if a girl comes home from school and she says, "Mom, I passed my exam," the mom would say, "Are you serious?" She's not asking if her daughter is serious. She knows her daughter is smart and her daughter would probably pass, but she's showing surprise. "Wow, are you serious?" Okay, it's like saying, "Wow, what?" Like, it's showing a lot of surprise. Okay, do you think I'm made of money? Do you think I'm made of money? So if a boy asks his mom, "Mom, can you buy me a new iPad?" Then his mom might say, "What, do you think I'm made of money?" She's not asking if she's made of money. "I'm not made of money. I'm made of skin, bones, organs." She's saying that she doesn't have unlimited money to buy him everything he wants: a computer, a basketball, a bike, video games. Okay, who do you think I am? Do you think I'm made of money? Do you think I'm made of money? Okay, so you might hear all of these actually quite a bit. I tried to think of the most common ones that came to, the first ones that came to my mind. Okay, so you'll hear these or similar ones quite a bit. So the last one here is, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Okay, now this one is a challenge. Okay, I'm challenging you. Like, let's say I come to your house and I tell your wife, "Bring me some water." Okay, if I tell your wife, "Get me some water," okay, you would probably say, "Who do you think you are coming into my house telling my wife what to do?" So you're not asking me who I think I am. You're saying, "Don't tell my wife what to do." And you would probably punch me in the face and kick me out of your house. Okay, so rhetorical questions, they're not real questions. They're not asking any answer. They're not asking for an answer. They're making a statement. Okay, now you're probably wondering, how do I know when a question is a rhetorical question and when it's a real question? That's a good question, and I'll tell you the answer. But first, it's sponsor time. This lesson is brought to you by nobody. Instead of watching a grand piano fall on Shanghai, you could be watching me promote your product or service. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 ways to know whether a question is rhetorical or not. The first way to know is if the content of the question doesn't really match with the context of the conversation. For example, if you asked me, "Why does Cindy have another boyfriend? She's had 3 boyfriends already this year. Why does she have another one?" Then I might say, "Why is the sky blue?" Okay, so this is a rhetorical question. Why is the sky blue? I'm saying, I don't know why she keeps getting more and more boyfriends. Nobody can understand how Cindy thinks. Okay, I'm not even going to try to understand it. Nobody knows why the sky is blue. Okay, why is the sky blue? The second way to know if a question is rhetorical or not, and this is the best way for you to know, okay, is to listen to how the question is said. You need to listen to the tone of voice. Which words are stressed in the question? So I have a challenge for you. I have this sentence here. Have you seen Mark recently? Okay, now there are 5 words in this question. I'm going to read this question 5 times, and I'm going to put the stress on a different word each time I read it. Okay, and I want you to tell me which one is the rhetorical question. Okay, have you seen Mark recently? 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 Okay, which one do you think is the rhetorical question? I'll read it again, okay? Have you seen Mark recently? 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 Do you know? Okay, well, I'll tell you. This actually was a situation I was in at work not too long ago. Okay, somebody said this, and they said it in a rhetorical question. Now, I'll give you the context. Okay, my coworkers were talking about food, and they were talking about whether or not I would eat somebody's leftover food. I think one of my coworkers had some extra food, and she said, "Does anybody want it?" And she said, maybe Mark will eat it," or something. And then my coworker, he said, "Have you seen Mark recently?" So, have you seen Mark recently? So the stress is over seen. Now, what that means in that context is that I'm fat. Okay? He was saying, "Have you seen Mark recently?" Means he'll eat anything. He's been eating lots. Okay? He's fat. He'll eat your food. He'll eat any food. Okay? So that's how tricky these rhetorical questions can be. Have you seen Mark recently? He was saying Mark is fat. Okay, so you need to train your ears to pick up on these things because they're very subtle. Okay, now if you see this question, the most natural way to understand this question would be, have you seen Mark recently? So the stress would be over Mark. Have you seen Mark recently? So this is the only way the question can be naturally read. This is the most common way to understand this question. And this is the only way to ask this question if we haven't talked about Mark yet. Okay? If I meet you on the street and we're talking about the weather or about shopping, then I might say, "Oh, by the way, have you seen Mark recently?" Okay? I would say it that way. Every other way, if I put the stress on any other word, it means that we have to have mentioned Mark previously in our conversation. Okay, like I'll show you. If I say, "Have you seen Mark recently?" Okay, that would mean that we've already talked about Mark, and then you would say, "Have you seen Mark recently? I didn't know you had seen him recently." So if you don't know that okay, let's change it because my name is Mark. Let's change it to John. If we're talking about John and you didn't know that I saw John last week, you thought it was maybe years and years ago that I saw John, then you might say, "Have you seen John recently?" Okay. Now the second meaning would, if it was over you, "Have you seen John recently?" Then if we were in a group of people and you said, "Okay, yeah, Mark has seen John recently," then you might ask somebody else, Have you seen Mark recently? Have you seen John recently? Okay. Have you seen John recently? Have you seen John recently? Have you seen John recently? I haven't seen him recently. Have you? Okay. Then it's over you. Now, have you seen Mark recently? It means it's pointing, it's a rhetorical question that's pointing to my physical appearance somehow. Like it's talking about the way I look. Maybe clothes, maybe my face, maybe my weight. I don't know. Something to do with the way I look. And if it's over Mark, that's the natural way to ask the question. And then if it's over recently, have you seen Mark recently? Okay, then it's asking if you've seen Mark recently. Maybe you don't know. Have you seen Mark recently? So yeah, okay. Then it's asking when the last time you saw Mark was. So maybe it's been a week. Maybe it's been a month. Who knows? Have you seen Mark recently? No, I haven't seen Mark for a while. Maybe we should call him. Maybe we should go out to a restaurant. Have you seen him recently? Let's call him. Let's call him and let's take him to a restaurant. We haven't seen him for a while. Okay? So, there you have all the different meanings of one question. Okay, this is how confusing English can be. So, it's really important that you learn to train your ears to detect what someone is actually saying when they ask a question. So this question could be asked 5 different ways. Only one of them is a rhetorical question. Okay, so it's pretty hard to know. But I think you can usually know by the way they say it. Okay, like for example, all the list of rhetorical questions I had before the break, like who cares? If someone says who cares, they always say it with that tone of voice. Who cares? How should I know? Okay. Who do you think you are? Okay. They say it in a tone of voice that's not really the natural way to ask a question normally. Okay, the normal way to ask this question would be, have you seen Mark recently? And not a normal way would be, have you seen Mark recently? Have you seen Mark recently? Okay, then you know that it probably will be a rhetorical question. I know this is hard, but I think if you practice trying to use rhetorical questions in your daily conversation, I think you'll get better at it. And if you want to practice using rhetorical questions, you can ask them right down here. You can leave a comment down here below this video and try to use a rhetorical question. And then I'll tell you if you're correct or not. I'll tell you if it's a good rhetorical question. Just tell me a little bit of the context and then say the rhetorical question, and I'll tell you if it's good or if it needs to be changed a little bit. Okay, there you have it. These are really important. You'll hear native English speakers use these all the time, so you should definitely learn them. And yeah, that's it for this lesson. I hope you'll use rhetorical questions in your speech in the future. Bye for now.